Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. The Void Eye has just gone live as patch 1.5 is now on live servers, and that means that we have to try it out in high MMR. Today's opponent will be Laumam, very strong player from the 201 server, and let's have a look at the packs here. Plenty of options here for aggro to steel ball openers, but that spider pack looks really good if you want to try the Void Eye. Why? Because, well, the Void Eye is a DPS unit and it's kind of squishy, so it needs something to tank for it and it needs something to chaff clear for it. And it just so turns out that the Tarantula can provide both. It has 80 meters of range, which is 10 less than the Void Eye, and that kind of allows the Void Eyes to sit somewhat behind it. They still clump up a little bit, but it's a pretty decent pairing. And then obviously Tarantula is a chaff clear unit as well, so that's what we're going to be going for. Laumam here starts with a Mustang opener with Crawlers and the Fire Badger Specialist. So we actually have a pretty good starting matchup, I would say. And we're gonna go for double Void Eye here. Kind of putting those behind the Tarantulas. That way, if there's chaff, the Tarantula shoots at it. If there's something tanky, the Void Eye can get rid of it. And then, yeah, Crawlers kind of trickling in from behind, making sure that these units have a little bit more survivability and don't get instantly locked on. We're going to have double arc lights here from Laumam, and looks like he's going to be playing kind of asymmetrically on the defense. So probably just gambling where I'm going to be. If I'm on the other side, then we would likely see something like some tower levels being used early on. I think this is relatively clever. Stacking up your Mustangs is a good thing to do, because if you just put them symmetrically against this type of opener, you're going to have a really bad time. Mustangs struggle a lot in the early game, and, well, pairing them up means that you kind of double your odds of at least mitigating the damage taken, because you should expect to lose here, and I am expecting to win this round. Tarantula's tanking nicely, not too much DPS available just yet. And though the Void Eyes don't really have many targets to shoot at least they can shoot at the arc lights. And that will yield a very good first round for us here. So good start. Laumam is healthy though, although we equalize the hit points almost in one round. Round number 2, we get Phoenix Marksman Steel Ball Typhoon. And, I mean, Phoenix here looks kind of tempting. I do need some anti-air. Eventually, I probably do want to click aerial mode on my Void Eyes, but I don't want to do that too quickly, because you lose 10 range and it can be a little bit tricky then to keep them alive, especially against something like Mustang. Laumam will go Phoenix. This is kind of what I expected. Now, the easy thing here would probably be to just pick the Phoenix myself as well. But I'm gonna go Typhoon instead, because I wanted to try out the aerial mode on the Void Eyes. And if I go Phoenix here, well, there's no real point anymore in trying to play Void Eye. At that point, you know, just play Phoenix Tarantula. So we're just going to go Typhoon. Good chaff clear, pretty tanky this early on. Should allow us to at least deal with the Phoenixes if we manage to kill most of the other stuff. And yeah, we're going to be playing aggressively here. I will go for a Missile Strike, trying to hit the Crawlers and the Mustangs. And pick up another pair of Void Eyes to pair up with this Typhoon. Because the Typhoon is more on the chaff clear side of things, so it can be nice to have some DPS paired with it. And, well, Void Eye, we want to have quite a few of them on the board if they're meant to be our main carry down the line. And look at this. Mobile Beacon purchase from Laumam and a shield. Trying to save all of his units, and looks like, I mean, it will work. I only kill 4 or 3 Mustangs from the looks of it. And this shield might be hard for me to take out. Kind of a crazy pick, I will say. With the Typhoon, I might not have enough damage to kill everything, and it actually looks like everything will be walking out anyway. But in a drop where there was a level 3 Marksman and a Phoenix offered, which both would be fine picks, it is a little bit scary, I think, to go for something like this, where you might end up losing the shield. And we are actually working away at it and get pretty close to taking it down. Sadly, no such thing happens, and, well, Laumam will get the benefit of having that shield for another turn. Round number 3, Absorption Module, good item, but I don't really have anything to put it on just yet. If I was playing Wraith, though, this could be a nice item. And Wraith Void Eye is a very nice pairing too. So we could try to go for that. Underground threat, though, something that we do have to kind of respect. And that is going to be what Laomam goes for. And I will be putting it on the top left here, hoping to kind of get into that tower. We might have to distract this Arclight, though, so maybe we can pair this with something like a push on the left side. Try and get into this tower, distract the Arclight, have the crawlers come in. And yeah, that is going to be exactly what we do. So another Tarantula pairing with a Void Eye pack. Fire Badgers are available. And we are going to need to somehow distract this. The tower is leveled here, so this one can tank for longer than Laomam's tower can. But we will have to do something about the right side. And so we remedy that by putting a crawler here on the right. That kind of covers, okay, in the back, well, right middle, I guess. This covers the side and covers the middle somewhat and distracts the crawlers here that might be able to get to tower directly. As you can see here, we do distract that arc nicely and we will get into the tower. But Hacker picked up here for Laomam has managed to dodge, by the way, the missile on the Phoenixes with the use of the mobile beacon. And will we be coming out ahead? We do get that shield finally. Looks like my Tarantula, though, will get hacked. But maybe we can get a tower debuff here. Looks like we will, and that's very helpful. Because for now, our only anti-air is this Phoenix pack. Or not the Phoenix pack. The Typhoon pack, which needs to take out the Phoenix. And if that went down, we would have gotten scammed. But luckily, we managed to keep them alive. They even managed to pick up a level if we desire to take it. And so now, with the very early Hacker investment, I'm thinking, do I want to keep going in the direction of Tarantulas? We get efficient tech research here, which honestly seems like a pretty worthwhile pickup. Tarantulas and Void Eyes both need a lot of techs. Although I am still debating whether I want to keep going into Tarantula, because, yeah, we could pair this with something else. I haven't invested in my Tarantulas that much just yet. And seeing my opponent go Hacker this early, I feel like we might try to do something else. We can try and transition into Air, for instance, and then use Wraith instead as a chaff clear option. And honestly, I think that has been the comp that's performed the best. Paired with the Void Eyes, played aggressively and played with the Wraith. The Wraith can sit nicely in front of it. And I think a lot of people have been picking Degen Beam more with the addition of Void Eye, because Void Eye can be hard to double tech. If you want to go aerial, then you kind of need range, but I mean that's expensive. And Wraith can kind of just, with Degen Beam, stay unranged, have that 60 base range, sit in front of just aerial mode Void Eyes, and yeah, bully the opponent that way in the early game. Now, I did level the Typhoon here. I am still a little bit wary of that Phoenix. For now, it looks like we're just going to be going for Chaff. There's a couple of levels. Take a shield. Couple more Void Eyes. Setting up here in the back line for aerial mode to defend the flank. Mobile beacon here, a little bit annoying. And that will actually pull all of my units. And that also means that it looks like my high-level Typhoon gets taken over. Not ideal. Right side, Hackers with the range already taken over my Tarantula as well, which means that my leveled Void Eyes don't stand a chance. But at the very least, I do keep my shield, so happy with that. Right side now pushing in. Can we get rid of the Phoenixes? Left side also losing. I'm going to lose my tower, so I don't even think we're going to be able to take out the Phoenixes. And with 3 Hackers still alive, the Arclights, bunch of hacked units. That is a lot of damage taken on round 4. Round 5, though, more unit reinforcements show up. And now what do we want to go for? We could pick Wasp, although into Mustang it's maybe a bit tricky, but it is good flank defense. Instead, we're going to go for the Phantoms, because that could be useful down the line against Mustang with something like the armor upgrade. Kind of going to try and prioritize the left side of the board here, as it is on the weaker side. And yeah, here come the Wraith. We're going to sell that level 2 Tarantula, and that means that we have enough money left to go for 2 level 2 Wraith. And with 250 left, I think we can buy aerial mode as well as degen beam if we want to, because of that efficient tech research. Double flanks coming in now from Laomam. Phantoms on both ends. We have protected this. We do go aerial mode. Will this be enough though? We have to wonder. And yeah, I do go for the degen beam as well. So this is again a nice combination. 60 base range on the Wraith, 80 now on the Void Eyes that are flying. Should be enough to keep them safe. And well, the level 2 certainly should be able to tank a while. Lots of shields being purchased here. We tried to miss all the Phoenix again, but Laomam is wise enough to level it and grab that tower defense enhancement so that it pushes the Phoenix over 3k hit points and it does survive the missile. Void Eyes here will be going over to the flank, taking out 1, taking out 2, but somehow there, the missiles going on to multiple Void Eyes. And that means this Phantom survives. Wraith doing an okay job for now here on the right side. We're pushing in, but as we get hacked and our Typhoons get taken over, my tower gets taken out here by the Phantom Ray. And that debuff could not have been any worse. If it was just the crawlers, we would have probably taken this tower and been okay. But instead, we lose our Wraith. And now we're pushing into the left side. But is this going to be enough? We do have a full health Wraith over here, as well as some Phantom Rays. But I think the Phoenixes one-shot the Phantoms. They do. And, well, the Wraith is trying its best, but that Typhoon, awfully tanky. That does mean that we're actually going to be losing the round here. But not the worst. Still sitting at above 2k, and we kind of have the core pieces of our comp now. Round number 6, Orbital, Bombardment, and Lightning Storm show up. Probably have to take one of these. Lightning Storm is slightly better, deals a bit more damage, and hits more spots on the map, but it's also a lot more expensive. And I didn't really want to spend that money, so instead I just go Orbital, which if we break shields will have a similar effect. Now what you'll see me do here is actually double up on the Phoenix, because if I can take this out, that's a lot of DPS gone. You can see that for now that Phoenix has really been carrying the DPS side of things. So if I can soften it up and then make sure that it dies to just one hit of an Orbital, I'm pretty happy. Laomam goes for the Orbital as well, this time on the left side of the board. More crawlers here being added to the flank. Other side, Phantoms have been sold. I add a crawler. I also buy more level 2 Void Eyes, I believe. I also get the tower enhancements. Oh, more Void Eyes and then another Wraith on the right side. So we're pretty symmetrical now. 3 Wraith to deal with the 3 main kind of packs of units from the opponents. More Phoenixes picked up here for Laomam. And yeah, crawlers in the back for us as well. Trying to distract that Phantom pack if it was still there. Utilizing some missiles in case more units get added. Now let's see how this goes. Oil being used as well, although I don't know what that's going to do. Well, I guess opponent has the Fire Badgers, so we'll be able to set that on fire. Maybe get rid of some of my chaff. Although I wouldn't mind it too much if he set it on fire at this point, since there is some units in there. Although looks like that's not going to be the case, so the oil is going to be available to light on fire next turn as well. Left side we're doing okay. Pushing into the tower now. Void Eyes picking up levels. That tower is level 2, so a little bit tankier. And it does take a while to take out, but we're going to get there. And, well, 3 donuts surviving, plus all of these other aerial units, and suddenly Laomam is down to 1500 hit points. Round number 7, Ion Blast shows up. Almost always an insta-pick, I feel, but Laomam goes for the Amp Core. Kind of surprising. Ion Blast, very, very powerful. Cheap spell, deals insane amounts of damage. The only thing is you need to line it up correctly. But we're going to try here on the right side. Kill potentially some of the Mustangs. If we can hit the Phoenixes, I'm pretty happy too. And yeah, have a look at this. Range on the Phoenix now with the Amp Core. Very beefy. Underground threat is back off cooldown, but we have it as well. And I'm gonna go for range now on the Wraith, but as I do that, it also means I need range on my Void Eyes to make sure they don't get in front. But this should just help us chaff clear and DPS from a distance and kind of up our efficiency. Going to go for the underground threat here on the left, since I don't have much chaff coming in there, and I want to try and distract these units as much as I can. More crawlers here being picked up in the back to try and deal with the potential aggressive underground from my opponent. And lots of missiles coming out here from Laumam, just trying to get rid of the front chaff, which might enable him to get some insta-locks with the Phoenixes. We missile the chaff here on the sides as well, don't want to get stuck shooting the crawlers for too long. And looks like that is a pretty decent ion beam. We'll kill just the one Phoenix. Wow, that other one lives on a sliver of hit points. The amp core there actually making a difference in saving it. And it does lock on to my Wraith. Okay, will eventually go down, but did a lot of damage. At least I will tank a missile there, and I should be able to take down that tower. Left side now also getting in. And level 2 tower is still pretty easy to take out for the Void Eyes, it seems. And that'll be close to game. 300 hit points left. We just need one more good round. And here, round 8. Photon Coating shows up. Shield airdrop. Picked up for Laumam. Now, I did see my opponent was running Electromagnetic Shot on their Phoenixes. No Charge Shot. And so I was a little bit afraid that he might go for that. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, will I need Photon Coating boats at some point? I was going to not go for that yet, because it's very expensive. And the Photon Coating item kind of allows me to hold off that play for a bit. I place it on the outside, because if I were to buy a Photon Coating boat, I would put one here, and I probably wouldn't be able to hit this Wraith, so that's why I give that the Photon Coating item. We just pick up the levels now. Range on the Mustangs. Laumam doing a great job of predicting where I'm going to be missiling. Makes a lot of sense, because this is the only Phoenix pack that I can one-shot with the missile. All the other ones, now with the defense enhancement and level 2, are beyond the 3k threshold, so it makes sense to try and save this guy. And I just decided to go for more crawlers with loose formation. Now, the bad thing about this is on this turn my opponent went for more Mustangs. And that is like the one play where I wouldn't want to do this, because obviously Mustang is the main counter to loose formation crawler. But I could see that my opponent, before this round, had a lot of arc lights with range, and so I thought that the stall here would be decent. Still, though, I will say it looks like the crawlers here are still doing kind of fine. But, yeah, left side, we're just not really managing to get in. Getting stuck a whole bunch. Void Eyes not really shooting the right thing. Not managing to get the tower in time. And, yeah, Laumam here managing to hold on. And this game is not over just yet. That'll send me down to about 1,000 hit points as we enter round number 9. And round number 9, a whole bunch of free units show up. Abyss, Steel Ball, Fortress, and Stormcaller. Now, Steel Ball doesn't look too great here, maybe very delayed, but my opponent does have hackers, so don't really want to feed those into his units. Abyss could be an idea. It is pretty good into Mustang, so I could give that a shot. Other units, not the best. I mean, Fortress is tanky, so maybe we could just run that in as a frontliner. Or go for Fortress anti-air. But against the high-level Phoenixes at this point, it might not really be worth going for that. There's also the risk, of course, that I get hacked with low-level Fortresses. And start Fortress AAing my own Void Eyes, which would be a little bit sad. So instead, I probably just go for a take and sell here. But I think I could go Abyss here as well. I think going for an Abyss play with missiles wouldn't be the worst thing. Just going to go for the Fortress and sell though, which leaves me with quite a lot of money. And I decide to pick up the armor here on the Phantom Rays, but I left it very late. And so in a bit of a panic here, I decide to buy more Phantom Rays, but taking some levels, taking temp range, I'm actually going to be floating 500 resources. And we're just going to have to see here if this will be enough. A good pickup here would honestly be something like floating artillery array. But I've been holding it off because I was scared of the EMP. But it looks like Laumam here was afraid of the Fortress anti-air and goes for the shield. Which I'm pretty happy with. I didn't go for Fortress AA because this would have made it a lot more difficult to get through to the Phoenixes. But it also means that we're not going to be winning the round yet again. Void Eye's on the right. Just mostly getting stuck. And I mean, we're close to dying now. Both of us down to about 300 hit points as we enter what must be the final round. Port Shield, good item for one of my Wraith. So worth picking up here. We'll just be giving that to one of my high level Wraith. The other one picks up a level. Got some levels on the Void Eyes, might be worth picking up. And so here, my main concern is really that he will click EMP. And so I feel like going Photon Boat is somewhat of a must, just in case he goes for that, as it will add more tankiness to both my Phantom Rays and my Wraith, which should be valuable. And so that's the play we go for. However, it does mean that we don't currently have the money to go for something like the 8-gun Wraith. And I wonder if I should have just sold one of the Phantoms, perhaps, to be able to afford that. Looks like my opponent here will be going for ranged Fire Badgers alongside the Sticky Oil Bomb that is back off cooldown. And more barriers going to be put down. And if we look at the resources, no money left for EMP. So it turns out EMP is not going to be on the Phoenixes this round for Laumam. So this Photon, not really necessary, but I didn't know that. And we're going to be shielding here as well, trying to make sure that we intercept some of the missiles, keep as much of our chaff alive as possible. And let's see, how does this turn out? Crawlers on the right side, sadly, will be burning. And we're trying to chaff clear here. Right side seems like it might be getting in, but at the same time, Phoenixes have locked onto my Wraith. As the boat falls, actually looks like right side, I mean, still pretty close, but only Void Eyes left. Left side trying to do what they can. But the final big air units are going to be falling, and, well, sadly, I will be losing here. And, yeah, not quite successful with the Wraith Void Eye setup. However, some mistakes in this game. And I think we might try to take over and redo this round once more, because there were a bunch of things I could have done, right? Obviously, going loose formation into the Mustang turn, not great. But I still think it was a fine pick, considering my opponent had so many arc lights. So I don't think not going for that was an option, because it's more of hindsight. Floating 500, not great. Should have probably gone for maybe another Wraith and definitely at least floating artillery array. And then I could have just not gone for photon coating boat. It does add a lot of tankiness to the board, but, well, not necessarily because my opponent didn't go EMP. Maybe the photon coating item was what was scaring them from going for that. But let's just try and take over. And what if we just invest the final round fully into Wraith. So let's say that we take the 8-gun Wraith here. We're going to be loaning, temp range, temp speed. Give this to one of the Wraith. Maybe this one or that one. We gave it to the left one. Let's give it to the right one. Doesn't really matter. Let's recruit a couple more of these as well in the middle, because it could just be nice for additional chaff clear. We could double them up or maybe add another Wraith over here. Missiling this seems like it could be a good idea. Definitely want to be leveling that. Maybe want to be picking up these levels too. And now the question is, how much do I want to protect my chaff? Because I know a lot of it is going to get missiled. So I could try and like sell a Phantom Ray, but honestly, I feel like that's not going to be worth it. I'm just going to missile this and let's see how this goes. We'll be losing a bunch of my chaff, but this is the fire round anyway, so we would have lost those pretty quick regardless of what we were doing. This probably would have been a pretty decent game as well to go for something like Shielded Phantom if I ran it. Currently trying out the high explosive Phantom because it got buffed. Not that I think it's very good, but I mean sometimes you just want to try new stuff. And yeah, look at this. This actually does seem to work quite well here. Adding more Wraith and that 8-gun. Upping our chaff clearing ability by quite a lot. And that would have closed out the round. We probably could have done this earlier as well. But yeah, I mean, that's life, right? I do think that this is a potent comp. Still needs some testing, of course. The Void Eye has just been released. But some aggro comp with the Wraith, with the Void Eyes, paired with maybe Phantom, maybe Rhinos, just a whole bunch of tanky units. And yeah, kind of try to stay away from the range techs because they're expensive in the early game, and just play like for levels, play for tanky units, play for stats. I think that that could be useful. Anyway, if you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think of the Void Eye. Have you played other comps with it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know. If you want to stay up to date on latest content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. And with that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.